We are back for another Knowing You show, and this one is to serve our empathic entrepreneurs who need some help in TLC with marketing. So stay tuned. Welcome. Today we have Lisa Manyon from Right On Creative, like right on creative. And she has a different spin on copywriting and marketing that I thought was really interesting. So I wanted to make her available to you. So let me tell you a little bit about Lisa. She's an author of a #1 international bestselling book, Spiritual Sugar, host of the podcast Your Message Matters, and president of Right On Creative. She teaches, trains, and transforms via her philosophies for marketing with integrity and methodologies about healing with love. She pioneered the values-based challenge, solution, invitation, communication framework, which she's going to tell us more about today. And Lisa's content strategy plans are known to create million-dollar results. She's a cancer thriver and offers in-house employee wellness retreats. Lisa currently lives in magical Ashland, Oregon. So you can learn more about her on rightoncreative.com and spiritualsugar.com. Welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. I am just so delighted to be here.
Thank you. Happy to have you. I know that when we had our call a couple weeks ago, I felt like we really connected, and I loved your philosophies on copywriting and marketing just from the bit that we had talked about, and I thought it would be refreshing to
Thank
bring you
you. It is definitely a new spin, but a good, positive, values-based spin.
Okay, so talk to me more about your focus on values and integrity and customizing the flavor and the words and the energy in ways that really sing
Well,
to the audiences.
you nailed it right there, because it's all about energetic alignment, right? And what happens is when we are off course and our values aren't aligned with our messaging, then we don't get the results that we had hoped for. And unfortunately, in the marketing, copywriting, and advertising arena, the majority of the formulas that are taught focus on pain points, agitating those problems, and getting people into a heightened emotional frenzy to buy. Now, what happens, especially to empaths, highly sensitive people, mission-driven entrepreneurs, healers, light workers, a lot of the people that I work with to bridge the gap between marketing and spirituality, is that they completely get turned off, and it's an energetic disconnect, because poking at pain points doesn't feel right. And I always tell people, if it doesn't feel right, it's probably not right. So I flip the script. Basically, we focus on passion points, and we really look at building relationships, because marketing and sales are actually all about building relationships when done right. We've simply been brainwashed to think that we have to try these pain point approaches that honestly are antiquated, perpetuate buyer's remorse, increase chargebacks, and return rates. But what's even worse than that is it can work. But what happens is it does not promote long-term business sustainability. So while you may use pain points and get someone into your program or your offering or your session or whatever it might be, they're probably not going to come back again. Because oftentimes what happens is those emotional manipulative tactics cause people to be very, very disappointed about the outcome. And oftentimes when people use these techniques, they don't necessarily follow through and honor their word. So what I like to tell people to do is just breathe, right? We don't have to poke at pain points. And this often
Mm.
removes blocks that have kept people from sharing their message for a very long time because they've been taught, oh, wait, I've heard about this problem, agitate, and solve approach. We got to know what the problem is. And that is true, but we don't have to agitate it. And
Mhm.
certainly we do want to solve it, but let's actually do it from a place of true service based on our
Right.
values.
Because here, at least in my community with empathic, spiritual folks, we're feelers. We can already feel the pain. You don't have to rub our noses in it. You don't have to like poke, poke, poke. It feels awful and overwhelming and high pressure. Like we're calibrated for pressure a lot, more than other people. And so poking at those pain points just to me isn't serving this community. Maybe it works in some mainstream ones, but feels a little icky, a little manipulative to me. So I've never had that philosophy of just show them their pain and what they need. And it's like, that hurts. I don't like that.
It does hurt, and I
I
love
can
that you
be
don't
with
like
pain,
it.
like, I can be with pain.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
have to, like, rub people's nose in it.
Well, listen, we're all in enough pain. There's no reason to agitate that, right? And so you're spot on about all of this. We don't need to do that. We can actually come from that place of true service. And basically what I discovered, I started doing this all intuitively, which I think many of the viewers and the listeners will understand, is that it's just something that came to me through natural intuition and knowing what's right and knowing like everything that everyone was teaching wasn't feeling right to me. And I studied with some of the very top marketers out there, but they were all, poking at those pain points and pushing that approach. And I was kind of quiet about it to begin with because I thought, well, who am I, to question these gurus, right? Well, the truth of the matter is we have our own inner compass and our own intuition, and we should always follow that no matter what anyone else is telling us. And so I started just quietly doing things differently. People would come to me and they'd say, Lisa, we spent all this money on a coach or a copywriter or a writer or a consultant or whatever it might be, and nothing's happening. People aren't buying. And so they would show me either their website or maybe it was a brochure, whatever it might be, and I'd look at it and it was full of pain points, just riddled with pain points, and reminding people of the despair. And we know where we are already. We know that we want to get to a different place, but we don't need to be reminded of all that pain. And so I would basically just ask people to go back to basics and say, listen, is this the kind of communication that you would respond to? And is this how you would speak to a friend?
Mhm. Yeah, oh, I like that one. Is this how you'd speak to a friend? Because, that puts it in a totally different paradigm. So I am curious, talk to us more about how you would communicate. And I know you've got a challenge, solution, invitation communication framework. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, what it looks like?
Absolutely. This is what I get so excited about because it helps people remove energetic blocks that have kept them stuck with all of these other approaches, right? So it is very simple. So the challenge, you need to know it. The solution, you need to be it, and the invitation, you need to do it. Now that sounds super simple, and it is, but it's not that simple. So when I speak about the challenge, it is knowing what the problem is that our ideal soulmate clients have, right? We need to know where they are so that we can help them get to where they want to be. So we just acknowledge that with empathy and understanding as we would having a conversation with a friend, right? Oh, I see where you are. So an example is the people who are drawn to me are completely turned off by pain point marketing, and they're mission driven entrepreneurs, often multi passionate. They've oftentimes been told they should only focus on one thing. And they really do not dig pain points. They want to make a big impact in the world, and they're trying to figure out how they can communicate their message in a way that's going to magnetize those ideal soulmate clients. So that's the challenge they have, really improving their communication in a way that will magnetize their ideal clients. My solution is teaching this framework, right? And what this framework has done for people And what you want to share within your solution piece is the desired results and the outcomes that people can get from doing business with you. So by sharing this framework with people, and people can actually access it at no charge and learn to apply it themselves, because this is my gift, another one of my gifts back to humanity. Basically, you are able to release those energetic blocks that kept you stuck around the pain point marketing. People
Mhm.
have told me that they have released blocks that have kept them stuck for decades once they hear this and they think they can focus on passion points. And within the solution, you want to elevate those passion points too. So, a passion point for me is the entire framework that I'm teaching. It's going to help you feel lighter and better about your marketing messages, and it's going to help you dial in your core message so you do magnetize those ideal soulmate clients.
Can
And
you give
again,
us an example of a passion point?
absolutely. So, a passion point is, let's not use pain points anymore. Let's focus on passion points and let's paint a picture of possibility about where people want to go, instead of highlighting the depths of despair, like of where they really already are. As you mentioned earlier, we're all in enough pain, and we totally are. So in that solution piece, I'm giving them an alternative to pain point marketing. They're able to focus on those passion points, which is really, truly, again, all about painting a picture of possibility, not beating people down, not focusing on the negative. And not only has it helped remove energetic blocks, but by using this framework, it has increased results for people. They're actually bringing people to them without a lot of effort, because their core message is so crystal clear. People hear it and they're immediately drawn. Just like when you heard that I was doing passion points, you're like, wait a minute, what? What? This is great. Let's
Like,
talk more
hey.
about that, right? So
Yeah,
by the
I
time,
rarely bring anybody who does marketing on this show because I don't agree with their philosophies on marketing. So you're like one of the first people.
well, that's why we connected too, and this is why I want your audience to hear this, because it's so important and I am so passionate about it. So when you're applying the challenge solution invitation framework the right way, once you're done with your solution piece, which should highlight some passion points, it should talk about the solution, how you're going to help people. So I'm going to help you with your messaging so it's not icky and weird and you're actually connecting. And so that's a good thing, right? And it gets results. It helps people make more money. It helps people communicate with who they're meant to communicate with, which is actually the thing that excites me the most. What excites me the most about all of this, great that money is a byproduct, but it's that people lose that block. So by the time you're done with that and you're able to share some case studies and some stories, which, by the way, I'm going to share one about how this whole framework, from just a woman reading an article, helped her increase her business. So
Great.
years ago, when I first named this, right? Like I mentioned, I was doing it intuitively and I named it, and I was featured on the cover of Aspire magazine. So I had to name my process, because I couldn't just say, oh, I just magically intuitively do this, because people weren't going to be able to grasp it, right? I mean, some would, but really some tangible things are helpful. So I realized, well, what I'm doing is basically the challenge solution invitation framework. I named it in that article. This woman read the article. She applied my methodologies to a live event. She's a sound healer, and she got better results than she had at any of her other events. People stayed around to talk to her. She was magnetizing people, and she had hired an expert, a sales expert, and worked with him for over a year, spent a ton of money, did not receive the same results. This is from reading an article, right? That was an activation. So for me, that she didn't spend any money with me. She just read an article and got results. And I'm totally cool with that, because I believe what comes around goes around. I believe that the pain point marketing will have karmic impact. There's a lot of things that can happen. So I share that story to illustrate the power of the whole process. And when you're creating your solution for whatever your product or service might be, make sure that you're sharing in the solution piece not only how you can help, but some of those results that people have received. And it doesn't always have to be monetary. It can be transformational. And for most of us, we are doing transformational work, right? And so we want to make sure we're getting those results. By the time you share that solution in a clear, concise way with all these elements, you can move on to the invitation. And all you have to do is say, hey, would you like to learn more about that? And invite whomever you're speaking with or whomever you're writing to take that next step. So for me, I would love everyone to take the messenger quiz and start applying this to their business message right away. No strings attached. You will have an opportunity to meet with me if you want to, but you don't have to. You can just take the information and run if you want. That's totally fine. I want people to be aligned with their values. I want them to be able to articulate their core message with beauty, grace, and ease and magnetize exactly who they're meant to serve.
And I just put the link to your messenger quiz, which is the gift that she has for you guys. So I put that up on the screen, and it should be, in the comment section as well. So go to themessengerquiz.com and learn more about yourself.
Yeah, not only will they get the framework, the challenge, solution, and invitation framework, and I'll walk them through how to apply that to their business. They'll also learn their messaging type, which is really super helpful because typically when you're in business, you're either a launcher, a leader, or a legacy creator. And the launchers are multi-passionate people who have been trying a lot of different things, maybe throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall and nothing's really sticking yet. So this will help them gain some clarity. And then the leader is someone who's been doing their magic for some time and they're ready to truly be the go-to choice, not an option. And there's some different steps that you can take that I've learned through decades of running my business and working with mission-driven, multi-passionate entrepreneurs. And then the legacy creator is when you're really ready to create a legacy, like write a book or create a course or create something that's going to live on beyond our earthly bodies, right? So it's just helpful information that is my gift to help people grow their business and move forward, and never any pressure on my part at all. If you want to play, cool. And if you don't, I hope you got what you needed and I hope it helps you build your business.
So Lisa, can people be more than one? Because
Yes.
I kind of feel like I'm a percentage of all three of those: the launcher, the leader, and legacy.
Absolutely. In fact, I am a little bit of all of them as well. And the launcher oftentimes is someone who is, as I mentioned, multi-passionate. They've created a lot of different products, courses, different things, probably are in creation mode most of the time and need to be reminded that it's a good idea to slow down. Me too. I listen, I didn't come across all this information by accident. I've lived it all, right? So so that happens. And then the leader, we're all leaders, whether we have owned that yet or not. And this just gives people a little boost to claim it and to really own it, right? And legacy creator, I think when we're running a business in general, we started it to do something big and important. We didn't just start it to make money, at least not the people that I play with, the purpose-driven, mission-driven, multi-passionate, highly sensitive spiritual beings on the planet. We want to make a real difference. And that's where the legacy creator comes in. And there is absolutely a crossover from all of them. And I've had people take the quiz, and at one point their result was the launcher. And then later they took it and they're like, whoa, how did I suddenly become a legacy creator? Because there's carryover in all of these pieces. It just helps you identify where you might be and get you to where you really want to go.
Okay. And talk to me about the advice that you have for healers and spiritual leaders who want to get their message out into the world.
Well, first of all, we need you. That's what I want to say. We need more healers now. We need healers now more than ever, honestly. It's imperative that you share your gifts. And one of the best ways to do that is just to get really clear on your core message. And that's why I offer the messenger quiz and the messaging exercise to help you do that. Because if you're not clear on your core message, then you really can't, and you can't articulate it with ease. You're not going to attract your ideal clients. But not only that, you need a core message for every offer that you have. And I think this is really particularly important for our multi-passionate people.
Okay, guilty as charged. So, I mean, as you're talking, I'm like, well, I have, I don't know, 10 or 12 different online courses. More is still coming through me. The 3 books are coming out this year. My cell phone app is coming out soon. It's like
you are definitely a creator. So yeah, we just have to be clear about our message for each of those things.
okay.
I had to get really clear because under the Right on Creative umbrella, I have a lot of different packages, products, and services. And I've had to perfect a core message for each of those. To make it much easier when I'm doing interviews and things, I just say that I teach, train, and transform on 2 topics: marketing with integrity and healing with love. Because if I try to articulate everything I actually do, people will their minds will explode. And so we have to be able to, in a really authentic and true way, spoon feed our offers to people to meet them where they are, and then we can move them to where they want to be. And it's sometimes a challenge for me too, because people will talk to me and they're like, well, we want to work with you through Right on Creative, but what should we do? Should we do a 5-page web copy and strategy package, or a Manyon marketing web makeover? Or should we take your copywriting course? Or should we hire you to speak at an event? And so it's nice to
All
just
the
be able to
above.
say, yeah, totally do that all, but let's just start with, let's do something that doesn't cost you anything, and let's get you really clear on that core message. And then if you go through the exercises and you still need help, there is, of course, an opportunity to hire me, because here's the other thing that I want to say to all of our highly sensitive people. And when you're tapping into your empathetic nature, to realize that it is a disservice if we are not sharing our beautiful gifts with the world. And I said this before, but the world needs our healers now more than ever. The past few years have been a challenge for everyone, and it's time for us to shed more light throughout the world.
Yep. Keep evolving, keep growing, and sharing the love.
I love that you said evolving, because one of the other things that I share with people is you don't have to reinvent or rebrand. You can simply evolve, right? There's all pieces of us that we can take with us. Oftentimes people will get overwhelmed and they think they just have to reinvent the wheel or start over. I am a big fan of evolution as opposed to reinvention. You already have what it takes. You just need to articulate it in a way that attracts exactly who you're meant to serve.
Nice. Well, thank you again so much, Lisa, for being here today. And I put back up on the screen how people can get access to your free gift. So go to themessengerquiz.com, nice and easy. Take the quiz, see if you show up as a launcher, a leader, or a legacy person, and get access to her challenge, solution, and invitation communication framework, and see how it can better attract more like-minded clients and students who really resonate with you. Speak in their language. Speak to their heart, their soul. And then, of course, they're going to want to pay you.
Absolutely. And the energy of words, we know energy is everything. So it's really important to choose those words wisely. That's why I don't subscribe to any of the let's go crush it, or, kill it, or any of that more masculine energy when it comes to marketing. It's like, let's not. Let's just do this with grace and ease and show up and be of service and make a real impact in the world, so that we can create long-term sustainable success. And hopefully, in sharing this, I'm doing my part to help heal some of the broken threads of humanity, because it's been interesting to be teaching marketing with integrity when many people think that that is an oxymoron.
And I also liked what you said earlier today about then they're going to keep working with you, and there's going to be like a long-term relationship with this paying client or student. And I've found that to be true for me. Like one of my VIP people, she's had sessions bi-weekly for 13 years.
I love that.
And
Well,
she's
it's true.
referred everybody, like all of her, community, her family, her animals, her everything, her business. Like I've worked on all of it, because there's depth. There's so much more depth that we can take people to if and when they're ready. And she just keeps saying, okay, I want more. I want more. I want more. So it's been 13 years. That's my longest consistent client that still gets, healing and TLC.
I
and
love
then
that.
others are like 8 to 10 years. And I'm like, I love you guys. I love mentoring you. So keep listening to what Linda's saying. If you're a coach, a healer who needs to attract more of your ideal clients who get you and love your heart, love your soul, but maybe there's been a missing gap between them. Like they might know about you, but they haven't, taken the leap of faith and paid you again.
Well,
try
that's
try
yeah.
working with Linda on this.
Well, you know what's so interesting about that is that's the invitation piece
Or
is
Lisa,
where
I'm sorry.
oh,
I'm
that's okay. No worries. It's all L is all good, right? But what I find most people who are highly sensitive forget is the invitation piece. And that's why I say when it comes to the challenge, solution, and invitation framework, the challenge, you've got to know it. The solution, you've got to be it. And the invitation, you've got to do it. Because we sometimes share our magic and then we're just like, okay, that's it. Instead of saying, and by the way, would you like to experience that? Because I can help you with, X, Y, and Z. So we do have to do that invitation, but it doesn't have to be a weird, like, buy now, there's only 10 of these digital products left. And we know that that's not true. We want to use truth in all of our marketing. We don't want to use any of those false scarcity tactics that are sometimes taught. We really want to come from that place of alignment.
Mm-hmm. And after listening to you, I want to go back and relook at all of my different marketing things that I've created over the years because I've grown and evolved since then. I need to make sure it's up to speed with who I am,
Well, so that's such a great point because we're evolving, right? And as we evolve, so do our clients, so do their needs, so do their challenges, so do the solutions that we offer, especially when we're creators, like you and
Mm-hmm.
I. I have to put myself on creation moratoriums. You're not creating anything else, Lisa. Just focus on offering what you have.
Mine goes in a book. It's like, okay, possibilities for later.
Right, exactly. Oh, I've got that multiple places. Yes.
Yeah. Like 10 years ago, I had a download about the possibility of creating a mastery and certification program. But intuitively, I also knew the timing wasn't right. But I just, kind of filed it away in the back corner. And then last year, it just popped and it was like, now. Timing is now. And then,
Yeah.
and now it's right. So there is something about taking a breather from the creation, listening to the divine timing on it.
That's what I was
Allow.
gonna say, the divine timing is so important. We will be told and shown when it's time for something to happen, and I wanted to just kind of segue off of one of the things that you said too about the repeat customers. Sometimes for me, people will have worked with me 10 years ago, and I got them dialed in on their messaging, and they're good to go, and then they'll come back 10 years later and say, "Hey, I'd like to hire you again," because they had a great experience the first time. And they
Mhm.
realize that they've changed and evolved, and so have I, and they want what's next. But I never try to push people into the next bright and shiny thing, right? So there's
Squirrel.
a right, totally. Well, there's also some techniques that are taught like, okay, great. You worked with me on, say, a Manyon marketing web makeover. Great. I'm glad that I could help you dial in your messaging on your site and get that all working for you, right? And then I've been coached to say, well, you have to sell them into something else next. No, I don't. They might not need something. And we can intuitively tap into that too. And so you have to really be infusing your intuition into everything you do as well. And tapping into the energy of the people you're working with, not just going for the numbers. Because I always say that business is personal and people are not numbers.
Mhm. And that's where intuition, integrity all comes to play. So, if this is speaking to your heart, then sign up for themessengerquiz.com and get started and learn more of how you can improve as a coach, a healer, a transformation leader. Go serve your clients in even better ways and joyfully make money doing it.
Yes to that.
All right. Thank you for being on the show today. Everyone, have a beautiful week. See you next week. Bye for now.